Hey everybody, welcome back to Cosplay University. I'm Adonis Cosplay, and today we are going to go over how to texture foam. So right here I have 3 examples of textures that we're going to cover. We have like a scale design, we have some line detail, and then a crisscross kind of carbon fiber pattern. We're going to go over these and even more in this video, so stay tuned. One of the simplest ways that you guys can get texture on your foam is to actually buy foam that has texture on it. So if you want some sort of cross pattern similar to this, you can actually buy foam that comes like this. Most floor mats are smooth on one side and have a texture on the other side. You guys can see here it's nice and raised. It's got some divots and some like a crisscross pattern, and that's nice for certain armors or certain materials. If you want something that looks kind of carbon fiber-esque, this is what I would go with. Now, you don't have to do that. Obviously, you can make your own and you can make other patterns, which I will show you in just a second. But again, most smooth foams have this on it. So this is the cheapest and definitely the easiest option for making patterns on your foam. Another really simple way to texture your foam is the use of line details. So I'm going to take a knife and a straight edge, and I'm just going to lightly cut in some lines to this foam. You don't have to cut very deep, but you can add some awesome detail with these lines. So I'm going to do a few crisscross patterns here, so a couple lines parallel to each other, and then I'm going to skip and do some lines that are perpendicular, so a little bit different direction. And then once you have those cut into the foam, you can hit it with a heat gun, and those really start to stand out and make some awesome textures to your foam. It really makes a cool look and it adds some great detail. This type of texturing your foam is an awesome way to add some cool detail and some really intricate designs. So you see, I can add some really fine designs here, and these look really cool. Now they don't go all the way through, they're only just surface deep, but you can really get some cool detail, especially if you blast this with a heat gun afterwards. Another really cool way to make a diamond pattern on your foam is if you have some sort of grate or some sort of metal wiring. I have right here, it's kind of dirty, but this is an old paint like drainer that you would stick on a paint roller bucket thing. Kind of get the idea of what I'm talking about. But this wire pattern is going to be great for this foam right here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to place it on here. I'm going to use my heat gun. I'm going to blast it with a little heat, and I'm going to press on it to indent this foam with this diamond pattern. So we have this on here. Use my heat gun. Press on the foam a little bit. And then you can press even more. It's gonna be kind of hot, so make sure you don't hurt or burn your fingers. And that will give you a really cool diamond pattern on your foam. And you can do this with any sort of wire mesh. So this doesn't have to be diamond, it's just what I had. So that's a really cool way to texture foam. This one is great for like a scale pattern if you have some armor that you need to fake scales on, or if you want it to look like wire mesh. Another awesome way to texture some foam. If you guys are looking for a leather texture in your foam, a really cool way to do that is to get some crumpled up aluminum foil, place it over top of your foam right here. So we have it here. You can see it's right there. And I'm going to take an iron, and I'm actually going to press the iron onto this foil right here. We're not going to leave it on too long, just enough to heat it up and kind of mesh this pattern into the foam, and that'll give you a really cool false leather look. So we have our iron, press it on. Bam, that's gonna give you some crumpled texture right there. See that? Look at the difference between that and smooth. You can definitely tell it's got a false leather texture on there. It's nice and bumpy, nice and rough looking, and that'll give you a really cool design in your foam, armor, or prop. Sandpaper is another option if you want to have cool texture on your foam. So you take a surface like this, take some sandpaper. It could be either sandpaper that you use by hand, like so, or a Dremel, and you can just rough up the surface a bit, and it'll add some texture to your foam. Now, if you're doing it by hand, it might take a while. If you use Dremel, you can create some cool indents, and it can really tear into your foam and really give you a gritty texture, so it depends on what you want. I'm indoors right now, so using a Dremel is not the best idea, so if you want to do that, make sure you're outside. Make sure you're wearing something so you're not going to get all the dust in your face. But again, you can really eat into the foam and have some cool detail come through. So you can see it's kind of torn up, kind of, like I said earlier, gritty, and that's a really cool texture that you can add to your foam. The final texture that you can do is use a hot knife or some sort of soldering iron. I would recommend a hot knife though. Try not to use something that's not supposed to be for this. But what you do basically is you can take it and you can basically just draw into the foam, draw what you want. So if I have this, and you can just dig right into the foam and you're making texture already. So if you want to make something that's like tree bark or wood grain, you know, something that has that similar texture, you can just take one of these and run it right through the foam. Draw some cool loops, some dots, whatever you need to do, and it just digs right into the foam. I'm not pressing hard, I'm just kind of letting it melt right onto the piece. So you have this here, and look, you've made wood grain. There you go, just like that. Super easy. That's a cool texture to a foam right there. Now this gets really hot, so make sure that you're being very careful or using some adult supervision if you need it. And that is another really cool way to get some texture to your foam. Now you could feel free to add some of these textures together. So if I have my diamond texture right here that we did with the gray earlier, you can take your knife and you can cut some lines into the foam, however you want. Hex pattern, whatever, maybe some battle damage. You can take your heat gun, blast that, and it'll do the exact same thing. So we open up those pores a little bit, make those scratches come through. So again, we open up those pores, make those scratches come through, and there you go. You have multi-textures on the same foam. So that's a cool way to kind of layer up patterns and make foam look really unique and really detailed for what you're going for. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you learned how to texture foam, and if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. If you have any other ideas, please let me know, and I'd love to share it with a bunch of you guys. So thank you again, and I will see you next class.